Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. In this video, I will show you how to customize ChatGPT. That is to say, when we work with ChatGPT every day, when we send a prompt or a question to ChatGPT, we always need to specify the context, the field, and provide it with as much information as possible so that we can get the right answer. But today, there is the possibility to make a special configuration on ChatGPT to optimize it for our field or our daily routine. And as a result, ChatGPT will simply become a highly personalized assistant for each individual. You will see that when we ask a question in ChatGPT, if ChatGPT knows us better, knows our preferences, our way of thinking, our way of working, you will see that the response from ChatGPT will be even more personalized. So in this video, I will show you how you can simply use this GTS that I have created especially for you. This allows you to configure your ChatGPT for free so that this ChatGPT will have a special setup where it will respond to all your requests in a very simple and, above all, precise manner. You will see that once you make this configuration, the responses from Certipity will be much better and much more precise. First, in the video, I will explain the mechanism and how it works and what information needs to be set up. This document is available in French and English, and I will leave it in the description for you to download. We will also work on the part we call the project. This is actually a part where we can program and create multiple projects on ChatGPT to organize our files, organize our chats. And especially these are projects that will also be supplemented by external data and instructions that will further enhance our work on ChatGPT. You will see at the end of the video the quality of the results, which is nothing like the old version, the way we use ChatGPT in a standard general manner that everyone can do. So I'll see you in a moment. We will try to see step by step how to configure ChatGPT in an advanced way. Before starting the video, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Firas. I have a PhD in artificial intelligence and I am a university professor. So if this is the first time you're watching my video, I invite you to subscribe here because I publish daily training sessions, practical guides and tutorials on the latest in artificial intelligence and digital marketing. And for those who are subscribed, I wanted to give them a little gift. It's exclusive access to my pack of 100 courses. So you will find in the descriptions of this video the link to my e-learning platform with a special coupon, and this will give you access to 100 courses. So there are approximately more than 6,000 videos in various fields: marketing, artificial intelligence. So what are you waiting for to start? And now I wish you good training. So the first thing to do is to click here, actually in the settings section. I will simply go into settings and you will see that there is a section called customization. So in this customization section, you will see that normally if you are testing it for the first time, it will be off. It will simply be deactivated. So you will need to click to activate it. And you will see that ChatGPT will actually ask us questions to better understand our way of doing things, our field, our preferences. This is in a way teaching ChatGPT what our preferences are, what types of responses we are looking for when we use ChatGPT. And you will see that here, we simply have, you will see, this part where we will ask ChatGPT to activate certain features in all the chats we will have with it. For example, I always wanted to use the web search option. I don't want to use the image part because I don't do much image generation. Not the code part either. The Canva part, I will need that. And the advanced voice part, I will not need. So here, I am specifying exactly which two functions are interesting for me. And you will see that here ChatGPT needs to have two pieces of information. The first piece of information is actually about what types of responses I want, and I also provide information about who I am. This way ChatGPT will better know and understand who I am, what my field of intervention is, and what types of information I need. You will see there is a whole section where I have to specify the style of response from ChatGPT. You will see when I configure these first two parts, these are instructions that I will inject here. Of course, you will see it's important not to forget to activate it. Once that's done, indirectly, every time I add a question to ChatGPT here, you will see that it will take the basic instructions into account. And as a result, the way it will respond will be very oriented towards my lifestyle, the type of my work, and simply the types of answers I am looking for with artificial intelligence. And that makes all the difference. This is the first part, which is a very, very important part. It's a part where ChatGPT already gives you a little shortcut here. There you go, so you can directly access that. So here we are going to understand these two parts. And you will see that I have actually created a GPT. So here we can actually see the GPT, so you can either access it here. This is a GPT for which I will leave the link in the description. When you click here, you simply need to provide it with some information about yourself, and it will generate the two responses for you to copy and paste into the configuration section of each GPT's personalization here. But be careful with the information you provide here so that it can write them in a professional manner. You need to have ideas and know what information you should provide about yourself. That's why I have prepared an entire document for you. As we mentioned, this document is available in English and French, and you can download it. I will explain to you what elements you need to set up so that ChatGPT can respond perfectly to all the future questions you will ask. So to start, we will look at the two questions that ChatGPT asks us to fill out. So there's the first question, where we will provide information where ChatGPT will better understand our field, and this will help in getting the right answers. And for this, in fact, to answer this first question, we need to provide 5 important pieces of information. So the first piece of information, as you can see here, is where I will actually tell it what our field of activity is and the areas of interest that concern us. I'll take a very simple example. For instance, I tell it, listen, I want to create viral videos on YouTube, for example, and I tell it that I am interested in content creation on YouTube. If it's my main job or if it's really my most interesting area of interest, if I generally use ChatGPT for these creative days, it would be good to mention it to ChatGPT, and then we can actually give it a more precise domain, like in which field I work, which is also very, very interesting. I can also give it ideas. Or tell it how it can help me, meaning to tell it that I want you to get involved in video creation, in scripts, in marketing strategies. All this will give ChatGPT ideas to understand why it is there installed on your computer. And this will assign it roles. And in this way, it will know each time you ask it questions. With every interaction you have with it, it understands you better. Next. It is very important to specify a little bit what style of communication you want ChatGPT to use with you. For example, I personally would like to always have short questions and rather short and precise answers. I don't want to go too much into detail. I don't want ChatGPT to create, let's say, journals when I ask it questions. So for me, I would like to have short, precise paragraphs, and I want it to go straight to the point. As you can see here, there are many types of styles, and it's up to you to choose how you want ChatGPT to make these remarks. Be careful with the level of responses. You can either specify if it should be short or detailed, and also the preferred tone with which you want it to respond to you. Is it formal, friendly, humorous? It all depends. For example, in my videos, I like to have dynamic and friendly descriptions. Not too professional, not too formal. So it's very important to specify that. Afterwards, we provide information about the tools we use in our work. If you work with Microsoft Office, if you work with other artificial intelligences, if you work with Excel, for example, I work with CapCut, I work with Premiere Pro. Adobe Premiere Pro, for instance, I tell them that I make shorts and reels on TikTok, on Instagram, and so on. So I actually provide information about the tools and software that I use. And before finishing, we have the goals section, meaning the objectives, and it's very, very important to actually define what the objectives are. For example, for me, my objective is to increase the number of subscribers. That is a primary objective, for instance, of content creation. So I tell ChatGPT, I explain to it, so it can better understand who I am. I give it the name of my channel, my name, my work, what I've done, my training, my objectives, and everything. All of this, when I give it to ChatGPT, in a way, let's say, it will create an avatar, it will know, it will attach an image to the user who is asking it questions. And obviously, everyone can have different objectives, so you can mention one or several objectives, and then, let's say, in the last part, which is very important, you will simply provide other information other parameters that you see as important. For example, you can tell it whether you want ChatGPT to use concrete examples to provide answers, or if you want it to use specific jargon or specific technical terms. All of this you will request. For example, I can ask it to combine these two, or to use only easy words if my target audience is beginners. So here I specify, and at the end, of course, you will simply have an answer to the first question in this style. For me, in my personal opinion, for example, I put all this here. These are to a certain extent the characteristics, and for you to generate something that looks like this is a question that I can ask my GPTs to generate for me, in fact, this kind of information in a very detailed and structured and formal manner, and we will test it right after actually understanding the second question. This way, we will ask it here to generate a configuration that works really well with our specific field or area of expertise, and that's why we need to look at the second question, which is indeed very crucial and important. And now we will work on the second question, and this is a question that is very important. So here we have prepared a document in English as well as in French. Here we will explain to you step by step how to work on the response for the first question. So you need to know at the beginning, in fact, we need to give it the preferred time. That means what is the time we are looking for and prefer when ChatGPT will draft the response. That means, do we want something serious, academic, or rather something dynamic and engaging, or for example, something humorous and light? And the tone, in fact, is very important because we generally use ChatGPT for work, and we usually tend to remind it to write in a specific tone. But surely we have a tone style that we use 80% of the time. So it's better to specify it from the start, and then we won't need to repeat it every time we ask questions. Once we've set the tone, we move on to the second thing, which is the length of the response. And here we will go into detail, meaning we will tell it whether we want something short and effective, or something detailed and thorough, or something balanced between being concise, concrete, precise, and also wanting to delve deeply into the response. Then we also have the part about examples that it will use, because generally sometimes when we request the creation of a strategy, we need it to create some examples for us. And for those examples, we can provide it with information. Will it take examples that are suitable, for instance, for my community? Or rather 2 general examples that it will bring from the internet. And that's why, in fact, when we specify this, it's as if we're telling it, here you will use the internet to find the news and information that you will propose to me. Finally, we have a very important part, which is the writing format. Do I simply want it to give me answers in bullet points, or do I just want paragraph formats? And of course, it all depends on our field and our way of doing it. For example, for me, when I make lesson plans or YouTube video plans, I would need it to send that to me in bullet points. It's more readable for me, and it's easier for me to set up a plan. There is also the part where, in fact, if I wanted to take into account the latest trends on the internet, because if I say trend, it means I will require it to check every time it gives me an answer and see on the internet if it is up to date or not. And of course, it all depends on your field. If your field requires that, for example, for me, I work in artificial intelligence, so I really needed to check all the information it will send back to me. There is also the part about the use of technical terms. Here, it's as if I will specify whether I want to use easy, simple language that is accessible to everyone, or a technical, advanced language for people who are more experienced. And finally, this is important. Do I want ChatGPT to ask me questions in turn to better understand or to guide me in the response if it has any doubts somewhere? And that, it's up to you to tell it whether you want that to be done or not. You see, all of this is information that needs to be set in the parameters here so that your system will function correctly, and ChatGPT with this configuration will know you best. We will try to test our GPT to see, quite simply, if this GPT is capable of giving me these answers in a concrete and well-organized manner. Let's get started. So now we are going to test our GPT and of course the direct link to this GPT that you can use. And here I will actually give it some information about myself and the style of response I am looking for. So my goal is for this GPT to actually give me the 2 instructions to add here in the customization. Of course, it will try to fill in as much information as possible. I need to check afterward if it hasn't forgotten anything. We will see together the answer to these 2 questions. Now, it has started with the first question. It has filled in the information about me. It understood that I am in the YouTube field and that I provided some information here. And as you saw, it started to provide as much data and information as possible about YouTube. Then it will move on to the second question about how ChatGPT should respond to me. It will try. I said I wanted short answers, but as you can see, it has further elaborated to give me even more information and data that will simply be able to provide me with a GPT adapted and optimized to my experience. All that needs to be done is to copy that, and the more information you give it, of course, the more it will specify data and instructions here. You will copy that and you will paste it from the first part where we will need to copy for the first question, and then we will paste it for the second question. As a result, I have my optimization part, as you can see here, active, and the system is ready to respond and adapt the answers, providing a very optimal experience with ChatGPT. So the last step, what I recommend is to actually use this part here, which is the project. So what is the project? It actually helps us to create, let's say, folders. And in these folders, it's as if we are going deeper into interesting topics. For example, for me, if I am working on my YouTube channel, I work with this folder. And I will, of course, save all the different chats I have had. I can simply move them from here to there so that they are more accessible for me. And you will see that in each project, ChatGPT will be even more precise and more focused on a specific theme or a well-defined instruction. And every time I want to change or redirect ChatGPT towards other specialties, I use folders. I'll take a very simple example. Imagine that I want to work on a new video that I am going to launch on my YouTube channel. So I enter that folder and ChatGPT will help me create the titles, write the description, find the tags, the hashtags, optimize, and ensure that my video is well referenced and well optimized for YouTube. And for it to work very well, you will see that when I enter here, I can provide prerequisite information. I can feed this folder so that ChatGPT takes into consideration either files that I can upload here. Regarding themes, I can put information about my company. I can provide articles here, and every time I ask it questions, it will take into account the existence of these folders. As well as, and this is what I did for myself, I include instructions. These instructions, every time I start a new chat on ChatGPT in this folder, it will take these instructions into consideration. So these instructions, I prompt ChatGPT to take on specific roles to optimize specifically. For example, here, I have directed it to be very thorough in its responses to work on engaging titles for YouTube, which will provide me with in-depth suggestions on that and will create descriptions, so videos that are also specifically made for YouTube. So then, instead of having to remind it every time I open a chat, if I haven't done these projects, I have to remind it of all that, the roles, what I expect, what I do. And you have seen that this is very focused on a well-defined theme. That's why it's important to make a distinction between setting up your general profile here with ChatGPT and going into details, into specific niches by actually creating projects. So that's why I advise you can set up the general parameters for your profile here. You take the maximum data and information, but generally, and if I have some, I will work on files. For example, with my school, my university, I will create a specific file here and there. I will take on the role of the teacher, and I will obviously focus on subjects, assignments, exams, creating presentations. So it will be something very, very specialized. And the fact of mixing the possibility of working here with settings and going even deeper with the files will further enhance the work with ChatGPT. And all the chats I will do here, you will see, will be recorded here. And so you will see that I can find, as you see here, the different chats and discussions that have been made here in each of these sections. So it's very quick as well. It's better to find them here in the history section, because if there are a lot of chats, they will obviously get lost. It's a bit difficult. to locate the chats if we haven't renamed the title. As a result, it will create a very powerful GPT chat that understands you well and is ready to execute quick and direct questions without having to recap the entire prompt and rework the prompt from A to Z each time. Thank you for watching this video. So if you have any questions, feel free to write to me in the comments. I will do my best to answer all your questions. And if you like the video and want to see the latest updates, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much and see you soon.